Welcome again and a lovely morning. So in this particular session, we are picking up a chapter which happens to be a completely comprehensively theoretical one, to be very honest with you, and this is not at all a tough one. However, at the same time, it encompasses quite a chunk of marks. Nearly 15 marks has been allotted to this particular unit, government accounting we are talking about. So from this particular unit, although it happens to be a theoretical one, as I just said a moment ago, and in spite of that, you need to understand quite well. I have seen students sometimes neglect and they forget the fact actually that nearly 15 marks are there for taking. Under government accounting, there are some simple facets besides the features, objectives, and government functioning. We need to know what exactly the government accounting standards are. You can definitely expect some questions on government accounting standards. So, in this unit, of course, even though it happens to be completely and purely a theoretical one, and of course quite boring too sometimes, but we have to do it because it's a part of the syllabus. It covers quite high proportion of the marks, so we have to do it as deftly and as intently as we have done so far all the chapters. So it will require a bit of pain on your side and effort on your side, both, because you have to write a lot. I'm not one among those actually who will simply go and have a reading, put up the slides before you, simply tell you. That is not the way. I personally feel, because at least once you will write it and in your own handwriting, when later on you are going to read, I'm very sure it becomes all the more easy to comprehend, assimilate, and learn. So here we go, and then start this chapter. Government accounting. This is the topic we are starting. Remember one thing, please don't neglect. Time and again I have been saying, and I have said it now lots of time. Correct? So government accounting, this is the topic we are starting. Initially it might appear a bit boring, but can't help it. We have to do, it's a part of the syllabus. Government accounting. Just a moment ago, I told you that you can expect questions, especially from the standard part. Correct? Government accounting standards, that is quite vital. And besides that, there are some other facets which we shall take into account, quite obviously. I'm not going to ask you, what do you mean by government accounting? Correct? So point number one. Because it happens to be a theoretical chapter, and I personally feel actually when we do the theoretical chapter in question answer form, we develop a bit of interest at least. Correct? So I'm writing a question for the sake of writing a question. Write a note on government accounting. You cannot expect this question, remember one thing. Write a note on government accounting. Or simply define government accounting. Or define government accounting. It's a common question. Like normal accounting, government accounting also simply refers to the same process. The process of recording, analyzing, classifying, summarizing, communicating, and interpreting the information. Correct? That is what we normally use in normal accounting. We are going to use it here also. So, I write before you, then you will be in a better position to understand. So, write a note on government accounting. You simply write government accounting. Government accounting simply refers to government accounting simply refers to. This is the best way to start the sentence. Simply refers to what? Refers to process of recording, correct? B, analyzing, classifying, summarizing, same accounting definition. Summarizing, communicating, communicating, interpreting, interpreting, correct? Interpreting information, information about government in aggregate, and in detail, reflecting all transactions when we say all transaction, it means the receipts and the transfer of government funds, reflecting all transactions involving receipts, transfer, receipts and transfer of funds. This is government accounting. We know that government collects what we call revenue and undertakes several heavy, ranging from small to heavy, in fact, projects. So, what amount government has received, where that amount has been transferred, which are those projects, what infrastructural activities have been undertaken. So, all these things need government accounting. We need to keep a record of that. We analyze it, we classify those activities, summarize it, then communicate the results after interpreting them. So, this is government accounting, correct? At least you should know all these things. Then state the unique features of government accounting. Now, government accounting has some unique features. But important thing is that it is government accounting. Accounting word is important. So quite obviously, the features which we find in normal accounting will also be found under government accounting. For instance, we know that government accounting is a double entry system. Double entry system. Double entry system, correct? Like normal accounting. However, it is fund-based accounting. Fund-based accounting. What we mean by fund-based accounting? Do you remember you did a chapter at some or other level by the name of not-for-profit organization? There you used to use this particular word, fund accounting, a lot. Correct? Capital fund, something like that, isn't it? Have you ever noticed, or have you ever bothered to find out why you used to write capital fund instead of capital? Because generally, a trust or not-profit organization or charitable organization, they receive the capital not through the contributions of shareholders or these fellows. Generally, they receive donations. Are you getting my point? So that is why their capital, to segregate it or to distinguish it from normal capital, we use the word fund. Similarly, government enterprise, correct? They get the fund from the government. Are you getting my point? So that is the reason why I am saying it is a fund-based accounting. C. A specific system of accounting. A specific system of accounting. It is a specific system of accounting. Government accounting is a particular system of accounting. Correct? We will see why it is a specific system of accounting, but you will have to wait for a while. Then I will be in a better position to let you know about it. Then, basically, government accounting means reporting of utilization of funds. Reporting of utilization of funds. So how the funds have been utilized, where they have been utilized, in what activities those funds have been used, it is, government accounting is a sort of what we call report card of that. Then, government regulation. Under government accounting, we have to follow the government regulations, quite obviously. Government regulations. Then there are what we call budgetary regulations. If budget has allotted you 500 lakhs, you cannot spend 600 lakhs. That is the regulation. Important point is that government accounting use transfer of funds and utilization of funds through banks. That is why I am writing it is banking based, what we call accounting. And then there is board of account, there is books of accounts as usual. Why we need to books of accounts? So that audit of government accounting could be done. Audit could be done. So these are the features which you need to know. That's the important point. Correct? Quite obviously, we need to know the objectives of the government accounting. State the objectives of the government accounting. State the objectives of the government accounting. Just a moment ago, I told you basically government accounting keeps a record of the financial transactions, correct? So that is one major objective, is recording financial transactions of revenue and expenditure relating to government organization. Quite obviously, this is the objective. Government organizations. Correct? Recording the financial transaction of revenue and expenditure, where the revenue is coming from, and of course, how that particular revenue is being spent. So these are the things which we need to keep a track of. Then, another objective is making available the reliable financial data so that information about the operation of the funds can be gauged. Correct? Just wait. Let me settle the sheets actually. It sometimes creates problem. Right, second objective I was talking about. Making available reliable financial data and information about operation of funds. So the funds which have been created for a particular enterprise, how those funds are being actually operated, correct? So another objective is to make available the reliable financial data. Third, recording expenditures as per appropriate act, rules, and legal provisions. So whatever expenditure is there, it need to be recorded in the light of act, rule, and provisions. This is another objective. Another objective of accounting is to avoid excess expenditure. Avoiding excess expenditure. Because when we do the accounting, we can keep the track at how much has been spent, so that we come to know whether the expenditure is more or less than the total funds available. Fifth, we have to ultimately see to it that audit is also possible, facilitation of audit. it is another objective. These are normal, common objectives which are almost applicable to any enterprise, to be very honest with you. Now, preventing misappropriation of funds. Preventing misappropriation of funds. When we have a proper track, then only we can avoid it. So another objective is that funds should not be misappropriated, correct, by scrupulous fellows. Then seventh, estimating annual budget. Recently budget has been passed. So when we prepare the budget or estimate the budget, government accounting plays a pivotal role. Estimating annual budget, because it will let you know the needs of the expenditure and of course the revenue. Annual budget. After having a look over what we call definition, then features and objectives, now we move over to the fourth question, that is state general principles of accounting. General principles of government accounting. General principles of government accounting. So what are the general principles, normal, common principles of government accounting? One thing is quite sure, that under government accounting we need to classify the expenditure. Government accounting generally gets based upon the annual budget, as we have seen, correct? So these are the general principles we put here. One, classification of expenditure. All the expenditure should be properly classified. Classification of expenditure. Classification of expenditure. Correct. Second one is based upon budgets. Based upon budget. Third, facilitation of facilitation, facilitation of end product. What we mean by end product in accounting language? End product means your financial statements. Facilitation of end products, that is monthly or annual accounts. Government accounting should be such that we can easily prepare monthly or annual accounts. It should facilitate preparation of the account. Generally under government accounting, period of account is 1st of April and 31st of March, as is the case with normal entities. Period of account, that is 1st of April till 31st March of next year. 31st March of next year. Correct? A striking feature, among the general feature, most striking is generally government accounting is cash basis. Cash basis of accounting. I'm not telling that accrual system is not adopted at all. However, in government organization, generally cash basis of accounting is adopted. Correct? Government account government accounting is kept in three parts. In three parts. What are those parts? A. We will talk about all these at length later on. Consolidated funds. B. Contingency funds. Contingency funds. And C. Public funds. Government accounting is generally kept in three segments: consolidated funds, contingency funds, and public funds. We shall talk about this, but you will have to wait for a while. Correct? Then we need to know about the differences. State the differences between government accounting and commercial accounting. And commercial accounting. So could you think of differences? Correct? Could you think of any differences between the government accounting? Okay. If you are not able to think, I am here to let you know. 1. Government accounting deals with government departments, offices, and institutions. While commercial accounting deals with entities other than government other than government establishments whether profit oriented or not. It means commercial accounting deals with all entities other than the government entities, whether they have a profit, what we call motive, or welfare motive, irrespective of that. But if it is an entity other than government entity, then commercial accounting will come into play, correct? Then, second one, government accounting mainly deals with, right here, government accounting mainly deals with what? Recording and reporting of utilization of public funds of utilization of public funds while or right, on the other hand, commercial accounting is adopted by business entities to compute profit or loss. Profit or loss. Profit or loss, correct? Sheet is giving a little bit of trouble today. Anyway, so this is yet another difference. We have seen that government accounting basically deals with where the funds are coming from and how those are being actually utilized. On the other hand, commercial accounting basic task is to know the result of the operation, that is profit or loss. We can say government accounting is more elaborate than the commercial accounting. Government accounting is more elaborate Elaborate means elaborate. Then commercial accounting. Elaborate means wider. Generally, we see that whenever the budget comes, it is government enterprises which are more influenced in comparison to the commercial enterprise. I'm not saying that commercial enterprises are not affected by the same, but it is government enterprises because fund allocation is set aside by the budget. So accordingly, within those limitations, a government house will have to actually function, which is not the case with respect to commercial enterprise. So we can say government accounting is influenced by budget, whereas commercial accounting is not influenced as much. We just saw that in government accounting generally cash basis is adopted, whereas in commercial we know that accrual system is more prominent. Government accounting is generally on cash basis, whereas commercial accounting is generally on accrual basis. Correct. So these are some vital differences which you need to know as a student of what we call commerce, and especially at this level. Anyway, so in the next session we will have lots of more to discuss.